So come on in. Let the show begin. We've got you covered. It's game day, brother. And sisters too. Have we got an ultra show for you? He's ultra, so ultra. He's American, very American. And he plays tabletop role-playing games. TTRPG. He's the ultra American TTRPG. Yeah. So fucking ultra American. Yeah, he's American. Let's solo because YOLO, and you don't wanna be some bro ho, you know. Yeah, you fucking know. So let's go. On with the show. He's ultra, so ultra. He's American, very American, and he plays tabletop role-playing games. TTRPG. He's the ultra American TTRPG. Yeah. So fucking ultra American. Yeah, he's American.
I was about to start talking. I realized that I was still muted for that moment. So, good evening, everyone, and happy November. It's hard to believe it's already November. We're already almost done with the year 2025. I can't believe it. It's driving me nuts with everything going on, especially with my job. Christmas rush has kicked in like no other, and this week was a hellstorm. So, anyways, I am once again Hunter, aka the Ultra American TTRPGer, aka the Jim Jones of classic gaming as well. I keep forgetting I like to use that name as well. And today I'm rocking my buddy Patty's Game Like You Gotta Pair shirt, which I think you can still get on his Fourth Wall website, which should be in the description down below. I always like to shout out all my friends and stuff. Oh, we have a Death Angel Shadow in the chat. Good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well. I really enjoyed your sci-fi for me show that you did with Matt and all the guys a while back. So that was fun to listen in on. And so today's video that I'm going to be doing is I haven't done just a simple just a discussion kind of topic one in a while. It's usually been an interview, doing a solo playthrough. I don't have any Kool-Aid, but I do have some flavored water here in my little Deadpool cup right here. So it's not going to be anything like that today. Oh. And so what I'm doing today, this topic, as you saw from the thumbnail, it's all D&D question mark. Because this was spurred onto a not really an argument, but kind of it's a weird, like, it was a conversation slash little argument I had with my buddy Patty, because we were, I believe, I'm kind of like rethink kind of quoting here. So I keep forgetting that about Jim Jones, the Kool-Aid thing. That's right. Yeah, I actually did that Death Angel. If you go back to my What is the Bro SR video I did like last year, I was drinking Kool-Aid little juice pouches the entire time with Scudder for Mike when I was talking to him about that. So that someone like screenshotted that and was sharing it around. I thought that was funny. But anyways, back to my train of thought. So yeah, me and Patty were having this conversation slash argument, kind of discussing about, like, I believe it was about like playing by the rules in TTRPGs. And I was one of the people that usually I will say I advocate for read the FM manual, but not for raw. You should at least read the rules before you start breaking the rules. I'm all for homebrew rules, tossing out rules you don't like. Like, I know the majority of games, like, the encumbered systems are just a pain in the ass. Like Shadow Dark, I think for me killed encumbrance. It was like, yes, you have this many slots depending on your strength. Certain items can be more than one slot. That's how it should be. And I've always been a big fan of Shadow Dark's like encumbrance system, because I think that's one of the big improvements it did with kind of like D&D style gameplay. Well, what one thing that stuck out to me is what Patty had said, and again, I'm kind of paraphrasing here. He basically said that if you're not playing, if you're just playing by whatever rules you want, you're playing you're just playing regular D&D. And I was like, that's not how TTRPGs work. I didn't say that, but that's kind of what I was like expressing was like these games are still their own games, even if they're based on another game. Because like I was saying that like Shadow Dark, OSC, even my Barrels of Borderlands. Shout out to Matthew Tapp. Those are great games in their own right and deserve to be recognized as such. I think it's very disrespectful to the creators of these games to say, "Oh, it's just another D&D game." Like, yes, they are clones. I'm not going to say they're not, but they stand out to me in their own way. It's not like D&D. So what I have actually is you can't see it because it's kind of off screen. Is I have a pile of my apparently my all D&D games that I have collected over the because like I think I only started like collecting physical copies. I think like maybe like a couple years ago because I was only doing like just digital for the longest time because I didn't have the bookshelf room. And then I decided the running joke that I use is in case the EMP ever hits, I have physical copies of the books if I lose access to all my electronics and my PDFs. So we're just gonna go through. I think I have at least 20 books right here alone. I think. So we're going to go through each one of them, and I'm just going to talk about the things I like about them, some of the things I may not like about them, and some of these I don't even think I've actually played. Yeah, like there's a couple in here I haven't actually gotten a chance to play yet, but I bought because I had the intent to play them at some point. So we're going to go through all these D&D games that I own, and let's see. Is it all just really D&D at the end of the day, or do these games deserve to stand out in their own right? So, first off, shout out to oh, I forget. It's shout out to it's like a couple of adventurers. They sent me a while back the some art reprints of the original Dungeons and Dragons Little Brown booklets. They did this for like an arts and crafts project for a bunch of us, and I got my hands. It's so here. It's the Men in Magic, uh, Monsters and Treasure, the Underworld and Wilderness Adventures. Then I also got some reference sheets, and of course I got a third edition of Chainmail. Hey, Patty's here in the chat. Yeah, there is a strong case. There is kind of a strong case to argue that D&D is a generic term to use today, but my problem is my mind, how I'm wired, doesn't look at it that way. When I think Dungeons and Dragons, I think specifically the Dungeons and Dragons the game. I'm not thinking all these other games I have off to the side right now. So, but okay, I guess we should first define when we're talking about what we call something D&D. I'm going to be looking at it in the purview of the fifth edition game. I'm not going to be looking at it from like any of the other previous editions. I'm going to look at how it is today, which would be like 2014 fifth edition, and God forbid 2024, which I call sixth edition most of the time because I don't think it's a fifth edition at all. So these were the original booklets that first came out when Dungeons and Dragons was made. It was one of the few came out, I believe, in. Let me see when this came out. Oh, it doesn't even. Oh, I don't even think these have years in them. I figured they would. Uh, six stats, skill based. Uh, that's too generic, Patty, to try to say. Hold on, let me share you here. That's too generic because there's a lot of games that do that, but that doesn't make them D&D. See, because you can't just look at a game by just mechanics alone and by what it has. There's more to these games than just six stats and a d20. So, oh, I see. It's like the chat on my because I got my phone open up, so I see the chat on here as well as on here. The chat on my phone is a little behind on here, so I saw uh Rocky talk about now. Patty, I'm going to get to that question. We're going to be going over these games one at a time that I have. So, and this was like very much this was still kind of like a when I think of like when you talk to people about how Zero Edition was, it was Little Brown booklets were almost like a trial run for like would people even want to play this? Because even though like it's like Rob Kuntz, if you hear this, it's no offense to you at all, mean no disrespect, but this there was a lot of stuff about this book was not a complete game. There was stuff missing that I know even Gary Gygax said that he had to house rule a lot of stuff too. If you look at interviews that he did over the years, so this was just the very basic version of Dungeons and Dragons that was released to just get people started and engage if people were interested in it for the most part. And again, this is all from what I've known and from what I've read about this. So if I am wrong on anything in regard, please feel free to correct me in the comments. And if you're on Rumble, if you feel like it, do a Rumble rant or something. Just so I can let you know, because I know I like to try to do that every now and then. I don't have enough followers to do the YouTube super chats, but I know Rumble's great with doing Rumble rants regardless of your following. So, oh, I see there's a Cyrus in the chat. Paul, I don't know if I've met you before, but yeah, I do agree with you on that. So yeah, as with certain when people of a certain generation ask if you're playing the Mario Brothers when you're playing any video game, yeah, it's kind of like that at this point. I am very much peculiar on when I'm talking about my games, like how I'm defining them. Yes, Rumble is superior, but I do like to use Restream to do the multi because I know there's still people that prefer, despite its misgivings, YouTube over Rumble. So I multi-stream to both now. So I'm on YouTube and I'm on Rumble. And if Elon Musk will ever bring down the prices on X, I may start doing lives on X too, but I would have to pay for the the upgrade on here. So okay, so what was I thinking? Oh yeah, going back to this. So, but I mean, I actually just recently joined in on a strictly Dungeons and Dragons Zero E game not too long ago. And and the guy that made it, it's actually again part of the reasons why I like these early editions because they are, by my definition, rules light. That it's enough for me to enjoy them, and I'm not feeling I'm getting bogged down too much by the rules. There is still a little more to this sometimes if you're depending on what you're trying to do, but I mean these are great, and I actually just love having these. It's like I'm holding a piece of history in my hands. So this is just this. So again, this is zero edition Dungeons and Dragons, little brown booklets. I want to get all the other ones at some point, because I know there's like you got the Blackmore, you got the Greyhawk, you got the Eldritch Source, you got the Eldritch and Sorcery. So I want all those booklets too at some point. If so a couple of adventures. If you guys ever do another arts and crafts project and you make those, I'm I would always be willing to take more little copies too if you ever make any. So all right, so up next we have, which one do I want to pick? Because I do have a lot over here. Um, okay, here hold on. Okay, here we go. Let's do just picking one at random. I'm not just going from the top down. Another one what we got is a White Box Fantastic Medieval Adventure game. Now, this is basically just kind of a copy paste of a Swords and Wizardry. So if you have that, it's kind of it's basically the same thing. I own the PDF of Swords and Wizardry as well. But this is free to get on Drive RPG as like super cheap to print on there. Hold on, I see your comment already on here. Death Angel. It's basically just look up the Ultra Mega TTRPG or Ultra TTRPG or on Rumble. It's basically the same handle I use for almost anything. So yeah, I think it's because it's basically the videos are under my profile. I didn't create a whole separate channel because that would have been just really confusing. So I just created my profile and all the YouTube and all the videos under my profile. Death Angel. So if you just look Ultra TTRPG, I should pop up. You'll recognize. You'll see my profile picture there. Yep. Thank you, Paul. And this was kind of like the next kind of White Box was is kind of like another name of Zero Edition. White Box basically what it did was it took a lot of the stuff that was in this and reworded it and made it a bit better. And that is because again, that was one of the things that that a lot of us had called out Rob Kuntz on was like, hey, the games were not perfect. Like it needed rewording, it needed redoing, rules need to be put in. So that's why what happened. So And actually, it's kind of funny because White doing some of this stuff like this white box. I think you do race and class. It doesn't do race or class options in this, but I remember the first time I got this, I was reading over it. I'm like, this is a lot simpler than I thought it was gonna be. Yep, Patty. Yeah, rocking your shirt today, and I got your link is always in the description for any of your stuff if anyone wants to buy it. So I'm always willing to shout out friends. Oh, okay. And so this is one of the ones I haven't really gotten to play yet myself, but I mean, I play Barrels of Borderlands, which is basically uses the same kind of thing. I have Death Angel. I have Stock and Rumble. So, I didn't even know you could purchase Stock and Rumble. So I wonder how that is some days. Well, I hope it's treating you well. And so, and I don't know if no one's noticed. It's since now November. I've foregone shaving again. So expect the beard to kind of be growing out over time. And so, but this to me stands out its own way because again, it took what it was built upon, D&D, and reworded it and made it better. So by my definition, this stands out as its own right in its own game. Built upon D&D, based on D&D, not D&D. White box. And I'm going to run out of room to put all these books everywhere if I keep on going this route. Oh, okay. So here's another one. This is one I bring up all the time. This was kind of one of the games I brought up again earlier was Old School Essentials, and this is the Advanced Fantasy Tome because I liked having all the extra classes and race options as well. And so this was made by Necrocgnome Games, and it came out in when did this come out? Well, this one says, oh, this may be another print because this says 2021 to 2022. So yeah, it's got a bunch of different dates in here, so I don't know exactly 100% when this book was released, but but I also know if you haven't been following like their news and stuff, they have recently announced that they are going to be just reworking Old School Essentials to be just 2 books without any of the OGL content. Now it's basically going to be the advanced only. So the advanced fantasy version is going to be like their main version they'll sell now. It's still basic expert. You can still play with the basic expert rules. They are still leaving that all in there, and that's one of the things. Like I love Tenkar. I have no problems with him. I have no beef with him, but he is making this a big nothing burger with how they're with the changes they're making to Old School Essentials by just having it be just the 2 books, so people aren't trying to always figure out which one do we need to get because that was one of the biggest that you have because you have the advanced fans, you have the advanced players tome, you have the advanced referees tome, then you had the classic tome, which was for players and referees, and then you had the 2 basic box sets and you had the 2 box sets for classic and advanced. And people were always confused about which ones they need to get. And I just got both the players tome and the referees tome because I was running this for a short bit. And funny enough, this was what made me learn to love the races class option because originally I was like, why would I want to be restricted by my race only allowing me to do certain things like not being able to have like a dwarf cleric or a dwarf magic user? Like the dwarf can only be basically like a fighting man for the most part. But I realized it again for me, it's the simplicity of it. Just choosing like the race as a class option, like if that's something you enjoy, like the drow in this, I love playing the drow in Old School Essentials. It's great. It's fun. It's like the way it's set up. It's like you are, excuse me. It is you're playing as like a drow should play. It's the same with if you get the Carcass Caravan zines that they make every now and then. One of them has the tiefling, and of course everyone knows, and everyone makes fun of me for it. I enjoy my tieflings. I don't play them like they're 5th edition tieflings. I just play them as normal people like anyone else would, except yeah, they got horns or hooves sometimes. But in the Old School Essentials Carcass, when you look at the Carcass Caravan that has the tiefling as a race as class option, you actually roll to see like what are your tiefling features. Like, do you have hooves? Do you have horns? Are your eyes a different color? Do you have feathers? Because I think that's something some tieflings have feathers. Apparently, I don't know. But and again, this took basically kind of the basic expert rule system for D&D, which I actually have that book. Hold on, let me pull this out really quick. And I got this courtesy of Diversity and Dragons because he had given all these files out a while back, and you could just upload to Lulu and print it yourself. So I have here. This is actually the basic expert book version of Dungeons and Dragons, and this was I believe, yeah, there was a fan made production by someone. I don't know who actually did this, but this is a whole book containing the basic expert rule set. And that's what this is, basically. Except with the advanced fantasy, you have more races and more class options, which I prefer. It's like I don't mind if you're like you can only play as like this or this or this, but I love having options still at the same time. And that's why I also get the Carcass Caravan zines when I can, because they provide more stuff, and I know they even have like extended like equipment lists and rules for like extra things. I think they have there's another rule set they have for like thief skills, another rule set they have for like fighter skills, and I know like one of them introduced cyberpunk weaponry, which I thought was really cool. Which is also funny because shout out to the Scrying Dutchman. I backed his Modern Necessities book a while back, and because of that, I also got his own. I think it's like Cyber Cut book, which is basically the modern necessities, but for cyberpunk. So he just sent out links to all that stuff. So I got to order those books at some point. But yeah, this took a lot of what was confusing about this and expanded upon it or made it better. So again, uh, built upon D and D, based on D and D, not D and D. Old school essentials, as it should be called in its own right. All right, hold on. I need to move some stuff around so I can get all these books out of the way as I'm going through them one at a time. Cutting Edge, thank you, Bingo. And you too, Patty. Yeah, Cutting Edge. And he also has a Western one, which I also forgot at the top of my head. Yeah, I'm super excited that he just finished Blacklight. I've been waiting for that one for the longest time. All right, up next, which do we want to do? Huh. Let's go ahead and do. Okay, let's do this one. This is one that I actually did it was a two-shot session of. Now I don't have DCC. I do have the PDF, but I don't have the physical book of it. I'm thinking about trying to look into it. It's just the whole way that system works is kind of weird. But I do have another system that I actually backed that does kind of follow on the similar train of it. So maybe one day there'll be a DCC video on here on my channel at some point. Who knows? But hold on, I just got a bunch of. Oh, I just had a bunch of people follow me. All right, so this one is Dragon Warriors, and this one was a. This is basically a British TTRPG, and this was made first published by Corgi Books in 1985 to 86 as a series of 6 paperbacks. And so you can get I think the PDF on Drive RPG for this is free. Of course, you pay for the book. And I remember I played a warlock character in this. The I believe I'll have to find the channel that I can't because I can't remember what the guy went by. But it's Lord Magnus's friend. We live streamed the two sessions that we did of this game on his channel. And it was basically there was I think it was a starter adventure that was in this, or it was one that he found, and we ran through that. And the warlock in this. Oh, hey Michael. And yes, you know what those words are. As far as I know, everyone still has their teeth. But a warlock in this game, it's like a sword and spell person. Like I did have spells, but I was also very proficient with like certain weapons as well. And it's actually very interesting about like how your like you kind of do have it's like it does have like a small life path system that you kind of do follow, like where you're from, how much do you know, that kind of deal. And it's a roll under system for most of your stuff. And so again, like, so it looks intimidating at first because again, like it's a decent sized tome, and I think it's like how many pages are actually in this thing? Let me look. Okay, so there's only like 255 pages in here, which it looks like a lot more, but yeah, a lot of it's just like adventures and monsters and stuff, but it's interesting though. And I played this and I liked it. And I think in this one very much stands apart from D&D in the fact that it's a human centric game. There are no elves, there are no dwarves, there are no halflings. You are all human characters, but you still have the fantasy element. So you may encounter elves, dwarves, halflings, maybe in your adventures, but you never get the chance to play them. So I wonder if this was well, no, this wouldn't be based upon D&D. I'll say it's D&D like and D&D feeling, but again, not D&D. Dragon Warriors. All right. Okay, I think this one. I got a couple more here. I'm going to some independent ones now from people I follow and I game with. This is one that I have been playing that I played on and off for like a year with some buddies I game with on Sunday, where we constantly are doing different games. And yeah, he goes by Squire Waldo, but his actual name is Alex, and he made this game called Kook's 2D10 RPG. And the Kook stands for Keepers of Odd Knowledge Society. And what this was based on a game called Micro 20. Micro 20. It was called Micro 20. It was Micro 20 Lights RPG is what it was called. And it was basically this guy, he made this game where it was like it was we cut out like half of everything from D&D, and he then just put it out to Creative Commons like said, "Hey people, here's a game I made. You create whatever you want with it. If you want to make your own game with it, go ahead." So my buddy, he made this Kook's 2D10 paid RPG, which is basically it's you're rolling 2D10s though instead of a D20. And I guess the idea is with a 2D10 system, you have more of a chance of like being able to crit and succeeding more than you would on like a D20 or like even like 3D6 per se. Uh oh, hold on. I'm trying not to. I do like the more digestible size books, Cyrus. Like, I mean, I have some decent sized books here still, and I don't mind having them as long as I'm able to read them and understand it. But if they're like digestible size like this is what I kind of prefer. And like a good stack of this, like again, digestible size books. I like those a lot more than anything else. Funny how D&D was meant to be human-centric, but the incentives led to more demi-humans. Now, this is my take on like why would I want to play as myself in a fantasy game? I would much rather be elf, dwarf, halfling, tiefling, drow. I would rather be anything but a human, unless I'm playing Horde Wars, because in Horde Wars humans are very much powerful. Yeah, I mean I'm just going by what the guy shared with me. Again, I could be completely wrong about this, but I like in 2D and with this, we did succeed more than we failed. So that's why I'm kind of saying it how I said it. But with this, it's only got you only have like three stats, which are in this game. Let me look at it up really quick. In this, your stats are you only have brawn, agility, and brain, are all the stats that you have. But then you have a small skills list, which are in here. It's craftiness, communicating, knowledge, physical, and survival. And then what you do is you for your roles, you will like pick a stat and a skill, and you add that to your roll to see if you succeed or not. And again, it's very much rules light. And one thing I actually learned, so when I was playing this, I was it was me, it was just me. It was the guy who made this was running, and then it was me and one of the guys. So there's only two of us as players. I picked a was I a halfling or was I a gnome? That's a good question now. No, I was a gnome conjurer, which is kind of the version of the wizard in this, and then we had a lizard man fighter. And so what was interesting was the magic system in Kook's 2D10 is uses your hit points. So you're spending your hit points to cast spells. So at first level, depending on your health, you're trying not to do so much. But as we got to higher levels, because I think we ended the campaign we were currently doing, or the game we were doing at like level 9, I think we hit before we stopped. I had like 40 plus hit points by the time we hit level 9. and I was easily able to just blast away foes with fireballs left and right. Because I think the fire. Let me look in here. I believe I'm trying to remember I'm trying to remember what spell level of fireball is in this game. Okay, that's not it. Where is my fireball spell in this? Oh, I must have a different version. Oh, okay. So this is an older version because it's not listed in here, but I have this. It was called Great Ball of Flames, and it was one d6 damage per level. And it wasn't your spell level; it was your character level. So you could be a level 8 character, cast the Great Ball of Flames third level spell, and deal basically 8d6 points of damage per level within a 20-foot radius. So there was one time when we were going up this snowy mountain trail, and the snow imps that he created like ambushed us, and they grouped in front of us. I just did a fireball and I blew them all into ashes, basically. So if you put the time into a conjurer or any kind of like magic user in the Kooks 2d10, it actually does play out very well. And then the fighters, I think what they get like super bonuses to their weapon attacks the more levels they get. And so they also gain a lot too in the process of being fighters. So, and again, this also does use, I'm trying to, did he have, so no, he doesn't have any OGL stuff in this. And again, this is an older one I have, so there's been stuff that's changed since then. So it's kind of based upon D&D. Is D&D like? Not D&D. Kooks 2D10. Let me see. Oh, I got more people on Rumble than I do on YouTube this time around. That's actually very interesting. Doesn't usually happen that often. What do I want to pick next? I got so many books over here because that was a one, two, three, four, five, six so far. Um, okay, let's do this one. I have this one that I bought over the holidays last year, and I don't have the physical book. I have right here. This is the. Hold on. Oh, all my books are backwards in here for some reason. This is the Castles and Crusades, the white box set. So this is Castles and Crusades that has their siege engine, and this was what Gary Gygax went on to help create after TSR basically kicked them out. And so, and this is one that I have not had a chance to play Castles and Crusades yet. I would really love to because I always do hear people talk about how great it is. But the difference they do here with this is compared to just how D&D works is you have your set stats, you have your prime attributes and your secondary attributes. And you have to roll, meet or beat certain numbers depending on what's your prime and your secondary, and I think level of complication too. So the siege engine does add a little more complexity to it, but it does away with all the skills. And I think with this one, you choose race and class in this one. And oh, you can still even this one even says you can use like races from the Castle and Crusades Player's Handbook in this one too. So if you just, uh, yeah, I don't think they sell this anymore. I think they stopped, but I bought like one of the last sets of them from their website like last year. So I don't know if they still sell these or not. But this is one I've been wanting to try and play out. So this basically kind of cuts everything down to basically kind of like a white box format to where you only have like your main core classes and your main races. So let me see here what they have. Classes they have. You have cleric, fighter, thief, and wizard. So your typical four. And then you have humans, elves, dwarves, and halflings. Again, your typical four. So basically, this is almost kind of like a mini starter set. Is kind of what this feels like because you have it's Men and Magic for book one, Eldritch Enchantments for book two. Book three is Adventures in the Wilderness and the Underworld. Book four is your Monsters and Treasures. And then it also comes with a adventure called Kane's Gauntlet. So that's another one you can do. And then it's got some reference pages in here, and then some character sheets in here as well as a little golf pen, which I'm surprised people use these things still. I hated using these because it does have an eraser. So if you make a mistake, you're screwed. And so I can't talk too much about this because again, I have no experience with Castles and Crusades, only by word of mouth of what other people have told me about what a great system it is. I would love to have, maybe I would love to like get my hands on the box set sometime. The one game I do want from Troll Lords, I really want their Amazing Adventures box set because I have the free PDFs they gave out with their monster manual and then the player handbook for it. And I really like the feel of the pulp fiction, the modern day stuff. What really hits me on top of science fantasy is like modern day. And so that's one game I really like. So, but again, this was basically based upon D&D. D&D like, because again, Gary Gygax had a hand in this. Not D&D though. Castles and Crusades. These games stand out in their own right. Okay, there's that. Oh, let's do this one next. Here's another one. And this one, it's like the only reason I know about this is from some buddies of mine to talk about it. I was going to play a solo game with this at one point, and I started making characters for it, but I never got around to finishing it. But so this is not one I've played either, but it's one I do want to, and it's 13th Age. And this book was actually made by people who used to work for Wizards of the Coast. And if I recall correctly, and again, if I get something wrong, feel free to correct me. Hold on. Ugh. Sorry, I had my my normal work chair broke a while back, so I've been using this weird folding chair, so it's kind of uncomfortable a little bit. Uh, no, but the idea is what you said, Patty. Was if I'm not playing by the, if I just if you play by whatever rules, it's all D&D is what you had said. But my point was every game has their own different kind of rule sets. Again, I got a 2D10 system. I got Castle Crusades, which is a siege engine system. And then we're going to go into 13th Age, which is completely different. Again, so I believe this was made by when the Wizards of the Coast had just, it was like not long after they had made 4th edition, if I recall correctly. And this is supposed, and the people, and again, these were people that worked for Wizards of the Coast, and either they got fired or they left. And what they had said, they made this game because this is how they imagined fourth edition should have been. And so for this one, it's actually very interesting because it has its own like little, because there's a lot of options in this. You got one, two, you have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 9 classes on top of that, and then there's one, two, three, four, five, six, 7 races. But then there's a list of optional races in the back. And so this one is very much different because I'm trying to remember what it was about this game that stood out because I have not looked over this book in forever. Oh man, there was really, I believe how it was something to do, I believe it was with combat, if I recall correctly. So let me go look at the combat section here really quick. These games are unique and special because the rules are different. The rules don't matter. Because I mean, and the point with that, Patty, is the rules don't matter because it's the players and it's, well, not the players. The game master decides what matters and what doesn't. Not this book. This book does not dictate how I run my table. I dictate how I run my table. So and yes, there is a difference because I can choose I can choose to either insert my own rules or cut out rules from this, and it would still be 13th Age. It doesn't, just because I add or remove something doesn't change what I'm playing. I'm still holding a 13th Age book out in front of me at the end of the day. Yeah, that was the thing, was the combat. I remember the combat having a bunch of extra stuff, and the icon die was also another big thing too, where I think whoever you served or whatever you worshipped, it gave you like a boon. But okay, so how do you say? But that's what the discussion was about, though. So I'm not quite sure what it was. I'm not quite sure what the point was of the whole conversation, because that's what I got out of it when I was like trying to follow when I was when we were talking about it. Because again, it's the game master is what matters more than anything at the table. I don't know if you're trying to. I don't know if you're actually insulting me or if you're just or just recognizing something happened. I don't know. So, uh, hold on. Oh, oh, I meant to hide you. Okay, hold on. I see. Oh no, that's not what I want to select. I was going to select Paul's comment here if I can get back to it. 13th Age has some changes to the standard D&D rules. They tried really hard to speed combat along with attacks, dealing small amounts of damage on misses and escalating damage bonus each round. Yes. Oh, and I remember what it was now that I remember what it was now. I think because I believe the or maybe I'm thinking of a completely different game now. Oh, that was another game I meant to grab, and I didn't even grab that one out. Is it up here? Is it over there? I don't remember where it is now. Oh well. I believe the crits also worked differently in this too, if I recall correctly. Now I'm trying to gotta look this up really quick. 159. Believe the crits worked differently in this game too. I don't even, yeah, there is the escalation die. Oh, that's what it is, the escalation die. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, they build up momentum and tactical advantages to help them defeat their opponents. This bonus to attack it that increases as the fight goes on is represented by the escalation die. Start of +1 on the second round. At the start of the second round. Da, da, da. Okay, so this is what it was. Thinking was the escalation die is what I was thinking about. So that was one thing that really I liked my attention, and then this one also, and then the icon thing was also really cool too, where whoever you serve or worship kind of gives you boons or curses depending on how you're playing your character. It all just depends. Oh, hey, Jeremy. Yeah, Patty's watching on Rumble right now. And so, again, this is another one that I would also like to try to play at some point. I just haven't had a chance to yet. And again, so based upon D&D, D&D like maybe built a little bit upon it. Not D&D though. 13th Age. Oh, speaking of games that were made because of D&D's kind of falling out of 4th edition. So this is going to be the one time you'll see me probably hosting this up because I'm trying to get rid of this, and I have been unsuccessful in trying to get rid of this book. And this is the original 2nd edition Pathfinder Dutton Core rule book, and I hate this thing. I hate this so much. Like the only time I ever cracked open this book was when my buddy was running a Deathbringer game and he was basing it upon like stuff from Pathfinder. That was the only time I ever cracked open this book. I got it on sale for like 30 bucks and I opened it up and I immediately was like, I am never going to play this game. Because for those who don't know the history of Pathfinder, this also was thanks to 4th edition, was why this game got made. So this is kind of like a retro clone or a clone of 3.0, 3.5 edition D&D. So you have you have math at the wazoo, an expansive, ridiculous skills list like no other. Yeah, Cyrus, if you live in the states, I will send you both this and the advanced player guide because I have the advanced player guide original one too for this because I'm not going to play this. This is not a thing I need, and fuck Paizo on top of everything else. So again, and again, the one thing I do give this the original edition credit for is it has actually stuff about the world in the book, whereas with the remaster they did, they nixed all the world building stuff, which was stupid of them to do, and it got rid of a lot of classes too, because it gives you an expansive. Because in this is just a expansive list of classes and races that you could be. Yeah, I know there's a lot of 13th age books, and I know they did a second edition recently. I don't know if I'll ever get that one though. But this was Paizo's answer to every single person that hated fourth edition D&D was to basically just recreate 3.0, 3.5 under a completely different system. Now, the only version of Pathfinder I would play if I ever got to, I would play the Savage Worlds version. I would not recommend anyone play this version. So, built upon D&D, D&D like based upon it, not D&D though. It it's Pathfinder and fuck Paizo. Oh, I haven't played Mutants and Masterminds. I have a hard problem trying to get into superhero role playing games because I can never find like the perfect one for me. All right, which one do I want to do next? Let's go. Let's kind of go back a little bit. Kind of do another old school little looking. As I have, let's look at basic fantasy. And this is you can get basic fantasy. PDFs are absolutely free. The books are like basically at cost. The reason I have the third edition, though, and not the fourth edition, is out was because I bought this on accident, thinking it was the newest one, because it popped up on my Amazon one day years ago, and I just bought it. Old School Full is right there. Yes, it is basically Math Finder, and so this is kind of like this has the basic expert feel to it when I look through it. It's very much that old school feeling of what TTRPGs were back in the day. But it is more, but it still has that, but it's like that modernized feeling to it. Hold on. Let me read some comments here that I'm looking at. Patty, I love having the different rule books and different games. When I can buy a book, it's a big deal for me. I particularly love games that take great care to make the rules understandable and enjoyable. I agree with you there, Patty. And Cyrus, are you talking about Pathfinder? Or are you talking about the basic fantasy book I just showed up? And so again, uh, excuse me. So yeah, so again, playing basic fantasy, it's basically just like your old school. You got dwarves, elves, halflings, humans. That's it. And then your basic cleric, fighter, magic user, thief. Yeah, there is a lot for basic fantasy. Uh Chance, I have seen Ascended by Macrease. I will not get that though because I have seen the reviews for it, and I don't. And that's basically superhero Pathfinder is what Ascended is basically because he tries to math out everything and give everything numbers. So that is not a game I would play. I tried to read over Osric once. I didn't really quite catch my interest that much. So I know a bunch of guys that love Osric though, so that's good for them. Uh, I was pretty sure, Jeremy, that fourth edition was a partial reason why they made a Pathfinder. If not, if it wasn't the main reason, it was one of the reasons. Hey, Jance, I'm assuming you're talking about basic fantasy. I actually do have a buddy of mine. It's the Evil Dungeon Master. He has a current basic fantasy campaign going on right now with some of his buddies, and it's a show, and I listen to it whenever he drops new episodes, and I've been enjoying it. Again, I have not had a chance to actually play this one myself yet, but I is one I would love to do because it's again it's that simplistic old school feeling. Like I could easily just sit down, play this, and I would be perfectly fine. So based upon D&D like, but not D&D. Basic fantasy. Uh, okay. What's next now? I got too many books over here. Um, you know what? Because I pulled this out kind of last minute because it's even though it's not fantasy, it fits in with the description of kind of what I'm thinking about. I shout out to the Red Room for this is the Wretched RPG. This is an old again. This one is an older version I have because they have revised it multiple times since I bought this book. But this one is again, it's D20. You have your stats, you have your skills, which again I am perfectly open with them about how I think the number of skills they have in this book alone is just absolutely insane. It's basically the same level as like 3.0, 3.5 skill stuff, where you just have this expansive list of skills, but you don't even have access to all the skills. It depends on your class and your character at the end of the day, and you have to write them all down, put what numbers they are, and all that. So it's weird like that, but it's a great system because it focuses more on the anti-hero aspect of characters. And this one is it's setting agnostic. So you can do cyberpunk, you can do fantasy, and they have fantasy versions. They have Wretched Bastards, and they also have Savage Swords, which is uses their red RPG. I want to get Savage Swords at some point because that's one I've had my eye on for a while. And Savage Swords is supposed to be more of the Conan type adventure sort of deal. But this one, they put their heart. This is you can tell when you look through this book, this was a passion project for Miguel and Sylvia because they leave no details out in this book because it is super detailed. I'm also not the biggest fan of how magic works in this. Basically, what would should be magic, they treat it as like psychic abilities for some reason, which throws me off completely. And so your magic in the Wretched RPG is like these long, like hour rituals for some reason, which makes no sense to me. But I'm a big supporter of independence, and I support those. And I don't give my money to people who hate me. And Miguel and Sylvia don't hate me. I have supported them over the years since I started my journey on like live streaming and being on X and all that. They were there from the start, and so they've always had their support. They've al- they've always had my support. I cannot word tonight. So D&D like, but not D&D. Wretched RPG. Okay, hold on. Wow. I've only gone through, I still got like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I got nine more books left here to kind of go through. And we may not go through them all tonight, so I'll try to cover some of the more important ones before time runs out. So up next, and this was another one I kind of brought up, we were talking about this originally, is Shadow Dark. The one that started a lot of this drama. Not by her fault, not by Kelsey Dion's fault though, but it's the one that causes the most arguments when people ask about like getting in the tabletop now these days. So for those who don't know, and I'm sure everyone that in my comment section knows at this point, Shadow Dark is a combination of OSR and 5e rules kind of mismatched together. And I remember first hearing about this, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I'll check it out." So I got the free quick start PDFs and never paid any attention to it again. Excuse me. Then I remember I watching another video later. Diversity and Dragons was talking about it. I'm like, "Oh, cool! I remember that." And then I just kind of forgot about it again. And then I saw that she won four Emmys for this was or like whatever the tabletop awards were called like a couple of years ago. And I decided, okay, I'm going to check it out now. So I remember reading through the quick start guides again. And I'm like, why have I not been playing this sooner? This is everything I've wanted in like a D&D like game. And so I ended up buying a physical book, and now I have a whole in this tote right below my desk here. Half of the side of it is all just different Shadow Dark books. And this basically ruined how I expect my games to come and be made. This is why I like digestible size games now. It's why I like my more simplistic, and it's also why when I open the monsters, how it's just like a little paragraph, and it's not a whole page like D&D ones are now. This ruined bestiaries for me, basically. Oh, and but I remember I this one I did ran. I actually ran this in the Chult setting just because for just a couple friends of mine, and we did like 9, 10 sessions because we wanted to do something else instead after a while, which I was fine with that. But I really love how smooth this system runs, and especially when you have no one has dark vision, everyone, so you have to rely on your torches, which are an hour real time. And I also remember doing a Christmas one shot with this system, and it was the Tomb of Saint Nicholich was what I called it. And of course, that's one thing I didn't realize was you have to make sure that you're not putting high level monsters against your lower level characters because they're not going to be prepared for that at all. And I didn't realize that until it was too late. And so yeah, but Shadow Dog by Kelsey Dion, this is like one of my favorites. And it's one I haven't gotten the chance to run it again since then, but my buddy Chubby Funster makes all sorts of Shadow Dark content, which I proudly own. And I've been neat, I like to crack those open and read them through every now and then. Uh, we did a game of his Shadow City, which ended in 2 sessions because we all TPK'd at the at the end of the second session. But we just laughed it off and moved on. So, but this is a work. Shadow Dark is this is the one where it's like this is a work of art right here. It's D&D based, D&D built like, but Shadow Dark deserves to be recognized as Shadow Dark in every possible way. It's not just another clone. It is something much more, in my opinion. And I see all the guys are talking about GURPS now, which I found the PDFs for GURPS, and I kind of looked it over because I was thinking about using it for a game at one point, but I didn't like it that much. I'm not the biggest fan of the point buy system and all that. So it's almost too it's almost it gets too crunchy with the character creation for my liking. So I don't think I would ever play or run GURPS for me personally. Oh, excuse me. Okay, still got time. So up next, this one is going to kind of go a little off the rails a little bit because this one, when did this get released? This book I have. This one got released back in. Hold on, I just missed the. Oh, this was well. This one, this is a 12th printing back in 2022. I have Dungeon World. Dungeon World is basically the Powered by the Apocalypse version of Dungeons and Dragons, where instead of rolling a d20, you're rolling 2d6 and you have succeed, mixed success, or failure based on the bonuses that you apply to a 2d6 roll. And this one got really popular for a while because it was one of those things where people, it, let's see, we're trying to remember all the stuff that people were, they said it's the combat was sped up because of it. The character creation was simple, and a lot more people enjoyed it when it came out because there was a time when Power by the Apocalypse was the thing. And Power by the Apocalypse games are still made today, but I mean they're not as what's the word? Not forthcoming. They're not as not I guess not name recognition as they once were before. And so, but I remember this again. This is another one I have not had a chance to run, but I've always been interested in doing so, just because. I mean, I started my RPG teach RPG journey with a Power by the Apocalypse system. That's what City of Mist is, and City of Mist uses the Power by the Apocalypse system, and it's modern day people with legendary powers, and it's always, and that's what always, and I really sorry, my brain's going all over the place right now. And the that is what and I always again always love that setting. It stuck out to me and I just fell in love with it. I loved how simplistic PBTA was. I loved how narrative I got to be with it when I was running it. So this is what started kind of my journey for me was these kind of games. And then after a while, I was just like, what else can I do? What else can I play? And now I'm like this weird OSR bro adjacent dude. But these still have a little special place in my heart. Even if they're not as great as they once were, I still like to pull these out a little bit. Maybe and just read through them, or I play them with some friends off the side here and there. I have a monthly City of Mist campaign that I run that we've been doing for we do once a month. We've been doing it for like 2 years now, and we got one more session we're about to do before we take our holiday break. So again, D&D built upon D&D like, but not Dungeons and Dragons though. And this one I think is like the most weird out one, or the one that stands out of the most of them. And hold on, yeah, I know Power by the Apocalypse gets a bad rap, especially when you have games like Thirsty Sword Lesbians that exists out there. But if you look through the games, a lot of the PBTA games are not that bad. And another one I've been wanting to play. Yeah, the quick start gives you basically the of City Mist gives you kind of the rundown of it. I own all the books, so because again, it was one of the first games I ever played and ran. Uh, mm, I will not play. I will never play or support Karn because the guy's a leftoid, basically. So, and I remember at one point I was like, I guess when everyone was trying to like slander me and all that when I first started, he actually banned me from his Discord. And when I tried to reach out to him trying to figure that out, what was going on, because I didn't know why he did it at the time, he blocked me on everything. So, fuck that guy who made Karn. Yeah, but magic shouldn't be I mean, magic shouldn't be a ritual thing though. If you're a wizard, you should be able to just boom with your hands. If you say the words or you need a component, you do it. I shouldn't have to like make a chalk outline and do a ritual and all that. So I don't like rituals being I don't like magic being ritualistic unless you're doing something specific. Like that's my only thing. Yeah, you have to be if you want to do a magic ritual, it has to be something very specific. Uh Rocky, you said the art is dope, but what book are you talking about that for? Yes, Patty, you do need to finish your games. I'm still waiting for you to do that D10 game, which I already forget at the top of my head. And okay, so okay, still got more. Um, well, okay, well, actually, now that we brought up D10, yeah, the artwork for City of Mist is really good, Rocky. I've loved it. Since we're talking about D10, let's talk about a tiny D10. By mine and Patty's buddy Aaron. And this one is a very rules light, simplistic fantasy game, and or as we like to call it in our circle, Tiny Dio, because sometimes it looks like a Dio instead of a 10. But this one, all you need is a 10 sided die, and that's all you need to do to roll for it. I started doing there's a mafia version of this that another guy that's a friend of ours made, and I've been doing. I need to get back to it, but I did a solo episode of that. So, yep. Hold on. Yeah, Die 10, that's the one I've been waiting for you to update so that way I can play it sometime. Because when I was reading through the first time, I'm like, I mean, it looks good, but I would change a lot of things because your character creation stuff really kind of narrows you down a lot. So, but anyways, so and this one is very much simplistic as well. And again, it's your basic normal. Again, it's that old school feeling. You have clerics, rogues, warriors, and wizards, and then you have dwarves, elves, halflings, and humans. So it's your old school feeling. It's D10 basic fantasy is what this is. But the thing about this does is what he does is he leaves a lot of like when it comes to your monsters and how they all work and all that. Like he gives you basic stats for them, but then how what they attack with and how they do depending is up to the basically the game master. And me and Patty have ran this like a couple times using Cyrus's Let's Roll compendium that he has on his itch.io. Which Cyrus, if you want to post, I don't know if links work on the itch.io thing or not, but if you want to post you if you post your yeah, try posting your itch.io link in the chat, Cyrus, so people know where they can get your stuff at. Oh, it's not going to be 10 sided die anymore. That'll be interesting. But we'll see how that works. It might be interesting. Could make it better. But again, and again, the PDF is absolutely free. All the stuff is on his website. The books are usually at cost if you go to Lulu. And again, it's basically one of those things where it's like if you work, you can basically like create. He also has a setting agnostic version of the Tiny D10 core system too. So you can basically play with whatever you want with it. So, oh, you're reworking Let It Roll again, Cyrus? Oh, that'll be interesting to see. I thought you had a whole compendium. I thought you were already done with it. So again, D&D like, kind of based upon D&D, but not D&D. Tiny D10. All right. What do I want to do next here? Um, I guess we'll continue going along with sharing games made by friends of ours in this hobby. Up next, we have. Oh, hold on. I dropped something. Where'd it go? Yeah, dang it. It fell behind. I'm not worried about it. Up next is Horde Wars. And I remember I have both the advanced books and I also have the basic book as well. And I remember as soon as I started playing with the basic book, I got hooked on this game. This is kind of if there was like my if I had to pick one game that was going to be like my go-to for a Dungeons and Dragons game, I would pick Horde Wars Advanced. I would pick Horde Wars Advanced any day of the week. And it is a D12 fantasy system that, and again, it's basically kind of like it's all your normal races. So you have humans, elves, halflings, dwarves, but you also have orcs in here because DM Blackwall likes orcs because he liked the half orc race from I believe it was 3.0, 3.5. He shared this story like multiple times whenever he's interviewed, and that's why orcs are a playable race in this game. And they represent kind of like old like Norse Vikings is what they are. But this book has everything you need in it. It's got simple character creation. Uh, instead of classes, you have careers, but you pick two of, so you're kind of multi-classing all the time, and you get all the skills and all their special abilities and all that. And it's actually really cool all the combinations of characters you can come up with this game. But then what I really love about the bestiary in this, you have your monsters, you have your normal like animals, and then you have your human centric or humanoid NPCs. And it is so expansive and covers almost every single thing. Like there are D&D modules that I read through them like I can find stats for that monster in this book instead of trying to figure out how to convert it. I could just replace it with a monster from this or a stat from this. And there are rules from this game that I apply to other games I run. I love the initiative system in this, where everyone rolls for their reflexes, and the person who gets the highest starts, and you just go around like a table instead of trying to figure out highest to lowest. That's how I'm currently running Curse of Strahd on the Rustic Roller channel, and that's how we do initiative. Is whoever rolls the highest starts first, and I just go down the Discord list of in order. And I love doing initiative that way instead of trying to figure out in my head, like, okay, who was supposed to be next again? Who had the next highest? And then also, if you're a fan of domain play, this game is also will be interesting for you because there are kingdoms and stuff that you can interact with and you can kind of help like expand and conquer depending on what your character's doing. So this is also builds upon domain play as well. And there's a lot you can do with this. And so so it's like I would say based upon D&D like, not D&D. Horde Wars. Oh man, I need a drink. I didn't see you. I did not think I had this many D&D books. Oh, okay. I still got like 20 minutes left. I think I may be able to cover all these other books I have in time. Uh, okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and do this one next. This is one that I bought that I've also have been wanting to play for a while now. That's why I'm saying these games are D&D like, or they feel like D&D, but they're not D&D. And people just want us, but we're trying to say, well, if you're not playing by the rules and you're just playing Dungeons and Dragons, I'm like, well, it depends on the rules kind of deal. So So this one I've been wanting to play is Shadow of the Demon Lord, and this is more of a like a grim dark fantasy game where you're basically it's just survival of the fittest almost is one way to describe it. The eclectic goat, which is a friend of mine, has talked a lot about this game and is one of her favorites from what she talks about it. I forget how I first learned about this game. There was someone else that I remember hearing about it from first, but I don't remember. But this one is all about like you're fighting demons, and instead of rolling for stats, the characters that you pick kind of come with their own pre-designated stats, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but I would make deal with it. It just gives you all your stuff that you start off with first. And so again, there's not a lot I can talk about this. Morkborg is I don't own Morkborg. I don't know if I ever want to buy it because the people that create Morkborg are fucking commies and they don't deserve the success that they've gotten from it if they're going to try to push their commie values through it. But Morkborg, it was supposed to be like OSR light. So it was supposed to feel like you were playing the OSR without all the bogging down of the rules and everything else. It was fast paced, violent combat, and that was one of the things that did get to me at first. Hold on. Let's see. When I tell people I'm playing an RPG, they don't understand what I mean. But if you say I'm playing Dungeons and Dragons, they know exactly what I mean. The most else. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem that people don't recognize that when you say playing tabletop role playing games, they mean that they don't think of anything else but Dungeons and Dragons. And that's but I think with recent years now we are seeing a shift in that with how much WotC has fucked up with 2024 edition. And hold on. Oh, all right. With Critical Role, I hate that company. Yeah, I've actually been I've been listening to Critical Role's new campaign just to see how it is because it's something completely new. It's not tied to anything, and it's okay right now. But I mean, like they're playing with the 2024 system currently, and I'm telling you, I would not play 2024. It's like crap, basically. But again, going back, this is one I haven't had a chance to run or play it yet, and one I do want to though. And I want to get the Eclectic Goat sometime on my stream, but it would have to be like a weird Monday stream though, because she's one of those people that she refuses to access electronics at a certain time in the evening. So I would have to do like an afternoon thing or something on a day I'm off. So again, D&D like, but not D&D. All right, what have I got left here? Let me talk about this one because this was one I backed on Kickstarter not too long ago, and it's called Underhaven, and it says it's an OSR heroic fantasy role playing game. The thing about this one is, oh wow, I didn't realize that. Huh? Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that my the printing on this on my table of contents was so off. I don't recall seeing that before. But the thing about this one is I gotta find the character creation really quick. Okay, that wasn't like that before. Huh, I wonder when that happened. Yeah, so the character creation on that is instead of modifiers for your attributes, you have die sizes for your attributes. And when you roll your d20, you roll the attribute die alongside it to meet or beat a target number. And so this is one that again I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it's one I would love to at some point because I'm thinking like I would love to run like Out of the Abyss with this. I think this would be a really cool Out of the Abyss would be a cool module to run it through. And yeah, I don't know why I have not again I this is how I know I haven't read through this book like I should have because it looks like some of the pages try to print twice on the same thing because it's weird because it's almost like double wording almost if on just barely on some of the pages, and I don't know how that happened. So I don't and I bought it from Drive Through RPG, so I don't know if that's anything I could fix now because I bought this like a long time ago. I mean, I could still read everything, but it's so off-putting now that I see it. That's the weird part. So, okay, so again, kind of D&D like, based on D&D, not D&D. Actually, do they have the OGL license in this? Now that I wonder. No, there's no OGL license in this, so it must be its own game. Hmm. All right. Up next, we got kind of going back a little bit, and this is one that I'm planning on running soon. The White Box Cyclopedia by James Spawn. So, people, if you want a white box game, get this. It's like you don't need to kickstart another box set. This is already out. This has everything you need. You don't need any other. You don't need a misspelled white box game. And so this is made by James Spawn, which is one of my favorite RPG authors. I have several of his works already. And this one, again, it's just like a old school white box game, with the exception of it doesn't have THACO. It has ascending armor class, which to me, again, it's not a big deal. Ascending armor class is like the norm most days, but I would have appreciated like a THACO chart at least still in this to make it to have that white box complete feel to it. I would really like that a lot. So again, this is just one of the. Uh, oh, hold on. I didn't see all these other comments. No, go Jeremy, War God Gaming. Free League is a communist. The creators of Morkborg are communists. The people who own Free League didn't make Morkborg. Morkborg was done by completely different people. So the entire Morkborg community is just full of nothing but commies. Uh oh, hold on. Okay, caused by the writer. Yeah, I don't know if it's a writer thing or not. So I do own Dragonbane, just not the physical version. I have PDFs of the Dragonbane books right now. Again, that's another one I've been wanting to play as well. Just again, haven't gotten around to it. So, and I don't know if there's a Blue Holmes if there's a Blue Holmes clone. I'm not aware of one that I know about. Okay, yes, but Free League doesn't own Morgborg. Free League sells the physical Morgborg books. It's one of those things where Free League sells the books for the creators. They don't own it though. There's a big difference there because they sell Morgborg. They sell like Morgborg games, but they don't own it. And so again, kind of going back, another white box that's it's D&D like D&D based, not D&D though, in my opinion. Uh, phew. Speaking about D10s, okay, yeah, we got enough time to talk about these last two books. I just bought this one because I follow this guy's work and I've backed a couple of his Kickstarters that he made. So this is Era Dragon Song, and this is a fantasy RPG using his Era D10 system. So it's a dice pool system. It's hold on, like if I show you, like this is kind of what the character sheet looks like on the back. It's basically like it's almost like a World of Darkness character sheet where you have dice pools and you have the bubbles to fill in and all that. So I don't know. I actually have a sec 2 copies of this book, so this is one I'm trying to get rid of as well. So Cyrus, if you want this as well, I'll send this to you as well with the Pathfinder books. Just let me know. And so, but this is one. I'm not the biggest fan of dice pools most of the time because, especially since Free League with the Year Zero engine, ever since that came out, I feel like dice pools have been grossly overdone and misused now. But I mean, I would. This is a game I would probably pull out if I want to try something different. So again, like D&D, but not D&D. Yeah, Rocky, if you can recall what that Holmes clone is, let me know because I would be interested in probably looking at that too. And we got enough time because I save, in my opinion, the best for last. And this is the one that has been on the top of my charts of favorite TTRPGs to play, and that is Barrows in Borderlands. and it's a weird. And again, I gotta read this because I never remember it. It's a weird science fantasy, old school style role playing game set in the dark, radioactive wasteland of magic, black powder, and dragons. And if you don't recognize that artwork on the cover, but that's Castle Grief, who is the creator of Calarath. He made this version of the omnibus cover. And so on top of the like the modern urban fantasy kind of stuff, the science fantasy has been kind of one of those big tickles my funny bone kind of settings. Because oh hold on, double checking. Oh, apparently just had a bunch of people follow me. Sorry about that. Oh, is that what it's called? Blue Home? I'll have to look that up, see if that's it or not. So but this is basically it's science fantasy. So you have radiation, you have guns, you have robots, you have aliens. And so this hits almost anything that I would want in like my tip if I was to pick my typical fantasy TTRPG, I will go science fantasy more than anything for my list. And this is so much fun too. It kind of it's like if Fallout met Dungeons and Dragons is what it is because you have actually you have like the original kobolds, which are humanoid dogmen. You have you have these green skull people, which are like radioactive skeletons, which kind of resemble a lot of like the mutants from Fallout. You actually can be like mutant people, and there's a whole chart in here for mutants. And the spell casting system in here is very simple. It's just you look at the level your casting level for your character and the level of your spell, and then you roll 2d6. You're trying to get a target number for that spell level. But the I recently so sorry, I'm losing my word train of thought again. But this game has been a bigger thing for me because we recently finished with the Kickstarter for Portal to Adventure, which has the Barrels of Borderlands box set, the Arduin trilogy box set, and it will also contain the Lost Dungeons of Tonus board, which is by the Blackmore guys. And it is this huge box because the idea is it's a game it's what we call on the Barrels of Borderlands server. It's the game of games because this is not we don't just play this game through this game, we play other games as well because there's portals to other worlds in this. And basically, if you haven't realized it, it's basically it's he took Keep on the Borderlands and kind of filed the serial numbers off and just kind of recreated it as its own little setting. But this game though is so great to play. Again, it's rules light, it's simplistic. You have Thaco, which is honestly not that hard to learn if you get it down. And so, man, I can't say enough good things about Barrels of Borderlands. It's one of my favorite games to play. I mean, I would still play all these other games I just showed you tonight, except for Pathfinder. Fuck Paizo. Fuck Pathfinder. I would not play that. But this would be at the top of my list of go to every time if I could. Uh, Dystopian Dawn is also a really good game if you want that post apocalypse, but it does not fit well for the current topic of tonight's discussion. Hence why it was not mentioned. That's DD, not D&D. And so, but yeah. So this one is very much based upon D&D, built upon D&D, but again, I would never call this Dungeons and Dragons. Barrels and Borderlands deserves to be recognized as its own game in its own right, even if it's built upon the game that was made from. And so, yeah, with like 5 minutes to spare, I covered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah, I covered 20 different D&D like fantasy books, all in the span of an hour and a half. And I think my point was, for what I was getting from the discussion, is all these games, whether they use Dungeons and Dragons to kind of build their game upon it, whether they didn't use Dungeons and Dragons to build upon it, whether they took some stuff from it or not, these games are all unique in their own way. They may be some of them they may be clones, they may be retro clones, but they all deserve to be recognized as their own individual games. And I think it would be a great disrespect to the people. It would it would be a great disrespect to people that made these games and just call it just another D&D. Like I'm pretty sure like maybe like Matthew and Kelsey they wouldn't take too much offense to it. But I mean, how long would they like actually want to put up with that before they call it a day or whatever? I don't know. It's like I tried to see about getting Kelsey on for an interview at one point. Well, I think the thing was it wasn't really about the rules itself. What I was getting from it was you were saying like if you weren't playing by the rules, you're just playing D&D, which is weird because even at D&D, you're not always playing by the rules either. People are always homebrewing rules or adding in their own rules. So even D&D by that definition is not D&D. It's this weird conundrum when it comes to D&D. Cyrus, they're all DCC. I like that. It's not it's they're all DCC. They're all this weird amalgamy of things. Uh and like this is why I think I don't think I would ever create like my own game. Like I would more than happily create stuff for a lot of these games I showed off for you. But if I was to ever try to no, Patty, that's not what I said at all. There is no wrong way to play D&D because if you're either taking out rules or you're adding in rules, you're not playing you are still playing D&D, but you're playing it your way. It's not a again, this book the books don't dictate how you run your tables. The game master does. Not the players, not a book. The game master dictates how the table is ran. So no matter so I could literally just because like it's something I'm going to do, I'm going to redo the magic system for a campaign I'm probably going to run at some point. It's still going to be Barrels of Borderlands. It's not changing it. I'm not changing anything about it just because I decide that I'm going to do a different way of magic. It will still be Barrels of Borderlands. Nothing changes about it. This is what people, and this is kind of why I'm not a full Bro SR guy. I don't believe in Raw whatsoever because you should never absolutely play everything rules as written. You should always be able to experiment and have fun and enjoy games to how you wish to at your table. Now, I know people make this what's the word I'm looking for? They may disconstrue that as like, "Oh, we can play whatever you want. I want to play my tranny tiefling." No, not what I'm referring to. We still need to gatekeep our hobbies because gatekeeping is good, and that's something we have been needing to do for a long time. Yeah, like Cyrus, Rule Zero. I've always been an advocate for Rule Zero. So the way you play just identifies as not DD. Well, technically, if it's weird because you can't say because I mean I'm pretty sure most of the Bro SR don't even run their games the same way. I will never believe fully for a moment that every single Bro SR guy plays their tables the exact same way. They may use one to one time. They may use AD&D or any other system that they like to use now. But I really doubt they're all playing the exact same way. What are you saying that anyone that changes the rule then calling their game? Nah, that's not what I said at all. I don't even know what you mean by that, War God. What you said doesn't make any sense to me. Just because the game has 6 stats and a 20-sided die does not make it Dungeons and Dragons. It can be like Dungeons and Dragons. It can be Dungeons and Dragons based, but it is not Dungeons and Dragons. And this is why I'm so big on people going out and exploring other game systems besides Dungeons and Dragons. Like, do I like the fact that I'm running 5e for the Crystal Straw campaign I'm doing right now? No, I'm not. I'm not the biggest fan. I am not a 5e fan. However, I decided that even though it's 5e, I'm going to make it as OSR feeling as possible. Like I am not sparing any expense on my players. I've about killed them multiple times in the 4 sessions we've been playing Curse of Strahd, and I'm even using the sanity optional stat, and I'm using that Call of Cthulhu Escalite, where they lose sanity the more rolls they fail. So, yeah, so I'm not even playing 5e by the book. I'm kinda playing it by ear, and the players are even sometimes correcting me on mistakes that I made most of the time. So, uh yeah, it may be successful for them, but again, it all comes down to how everyone plays. It's like, and Patty, I hope you're not going to become a pro SR dude, because because the last thing I need you to do is become like Kraft mac and cheese dude. I don't need you to become like him at all. I hope so. I would still be your friend, but I'm like, dude, don't go bro all bro SR on me right now. So, oh, but I mean, but yeah, that's kind of my thing now. Is like I just want people to be able to play their games and have fun. It's like, and even though, like, again, Brosar makes some good points, I don't agree with everything on them. And then there's guys I do enjoy talking to, like Scuttle Mike. He's a great dude. Where I'm actually planning to run a game for him. Well, good for you, Patty. I've had too many issues with him that I have no love. I don't really like the guy at all, so I ignore him whenever I see him. So he's not that great of a dude. But anyways, I'm gonna not. I keep ranting and raving now, and I want to try to call it to a close now, because Dungeon Delver is now going live on his channel for his Friday. It's because now that October's over, he's back to his Friday Night Gamer World game. So if you want to leave from here and go to to the Dungeon Delver YouTube channel and watch him run some first edition Gamer World for some friends, go ahead and y'all enjoy that and have fun. Thank you all for joining me tonight for this weird rant topic video, as I got to show off all these games and all that. And I hope and make sure you stay tuned tomorrow morning for another episode of the Ultracast, where we're going to talk about a lot of stuff that's happened over these last couple weeks because we ended up missing last week. So everyone, you have a good night. Don't be a faggot. Game like you got a pair.